So, as men today, we are being encouraged to be soft, be emotionally soft, be vulnerable, complete BS. So today, let's talk about what happens to a man when he becomes soft. Basically, what happens to you when you become soft. Now, to be very frank, this video might trigger you, but I don't really intend to look for your trouble, right? So today, we're exploring the lives of other people who basically followed the exact same path. They went up in life, they gave up, they lost, and then their lives became what? Misery after. One of the funniest stories that comes to my head is what? Is Samson. Samson in the Bible, the world's most strongest man. It makes me think if these gym bros even have brain or something. Samson, very strong. What happened? He slept off. He left his purpose, right? He became weak when the babe realized that was the source of his power. He became weak. Look at what? David in the Bible. He became weak. He met somebody's wife, right? Still, after meeting somebody's wife, what are the high doing? After meeting someone's wife, right? Still fucked up again and sent for them to kill his husband. Again, weakness, right? Look at modern day celebrities. Mike Tyson worked very hard to get to the top of boxing. When he got to the top, what happened? He became weak. He gave up. And what happened to his career? He went down the drain. We see this thing happen so many times where men strive for success. But that voice in my head that says, you've done too much, you can rest now, is where all the problems start as a man. That voice in you that tells you, oh, we have already done enough, right? That's where everything starts. That's where the partying starts. For Mike Tyson, just partying, women, drugs and stuff. Even for who? For Michael Phelps. So if you look at the lives of people who never give up, like some basketballers who still go hard today, or the guys who leave basketball and go on to another purpose, you get to realize that these guys live amazing life. It's not about the money. It's about what they are contributing to the world. This is why every time I hear this statement of work-life balance, I really pity dudes. When dudes say, oh, I'm looking for a work-life balance, life is tough. The moment you make that statement, it means that you're already living a miserable life. Because work-life balance means you don't like the work you're doing, so you're trying to balance it with what you like, or you don't like the work you're doing because you're not found meaningful work, and you just want to give up once in a while. But the people who enjoy their work, who enjoy their purpose, who have found their life purpose, they don't do work-life balance. They don't. Reality, they don't do work-life balance. And this is what they do for a very, very long time. Now, there's the research. Now, the result of the research was that the people who retire earlier than others die earlier than others. Now, for the men, people who retire earlier, they die earlier. And maybe it made more sense because after retirement, you feel useless because you basically be useless, right? What that means is our work itself is supposed to occupy a large chunk of our life. So when you retire, you feel useless. You feel like there's very little you can contribute to the world. And guess what? What the fuck has to do here? It's best for you to just X. So those guys, I think in the experiment, they passed, I think, 10 years earlier than those that retired later. What does that tell you? As a man, work is not about making money, right? Making money is a byproduct, right? All right. But work is about being useful to other people. It's about doing something that you think really, really matters. And this is something that Gen Z has been looking for a while, where we are struggling to, they say Gen Z is lazy, but Gen Z is not really lazy. That Gen Z is looking for work that goes beyond the mundane, work that goes beyond the repetitive, right? And thanks to something like AI, I strongly believe that more Gen Z can work on things that are creative rather than meaningless, right? So, as a man, what should you do to make sure that this whole fate of weakness does not come upon you as a man? Your first step is what? Have goals you're working towards. Because without a goal, without a vision, without a mission you wake up to, right? And speaking of mission, right? Speaking of mission, a quote came to my head which I remember. The quote says, "The devil will tempt every man, but the idle man would always tempt the devil." Think about it. The devil will tempt everyone. But you see that man who is idle, he's the one who is welcoming the devil. Now think about it. When you are idle, when you have nothing your mind is going towards, what happens? Your mind begins to go towards from very, very dumb shit. You begin to scroll social media. You begin to look for what? Instant gratification. Your life feels like there's no urgency, there's no excitement to life. Now all of a sudden, there's no need for you to improve your life either. And that is where everything becomes what? A downhill for you. Your first step is what? Having something you're working towards, no matter what. A vision, a goal, a mission. I say a perfect example of this now is James Bond. Right? Forget that James Bond is like a movie character, but James Bond himself, he's always on a mission. He's always saving the world. He's always doing some good, right? I think about it. He meets attractive women because women are mostly they are the leading cause of men's downfall. Yeah, women are the leading cause of men's downfall, right? So James Bond will walk into a new town. He will see a very attractive babe, a very attractive woman. But guess what? That woman will never get James Bond off his purpose. James Bond will still do what he wants to do no matter what. And that is what every man should achieve, to strive to be. A real life James Bond. You start by having a mission, a goal you're working towards. And you work on it every single day. By what? Your routines, your habits. Now, if you're working on a business, you may not really work 7 days a week, right? You may choose one day for what? Studying. But even the crazy part is that even your rest should be intentional. I'm not here to tell you, oh, let's work 247 now. Yes, there's time to work, but there should be intentional time to rest. Why I put rest there is this: is that if you don't have rest that is intentional, you're going to burn out, you're going to give up, right? Well, something worse is, something better is when you have rest, you know that, oh, going beyond this rest period is a problem. Then you can then enjoy the journey. Then you can then do the work. So you have your mission, your goal. You have your daily action you take every single day, right? Some days could just be reading, studying, but have something you do every day that takes you closer to your goal, right? You limit how much you indulge in some soft life activities. How much do you indulge on social media? Reduce it. How much do you, indulge in fast food, things that distract you? Reduce them. As a man, as a man, right? Your best weapon is your attention. It's not your time, it's your attention. Because the moment you begin to control where your attention goes, where you put your energy, that's the day you begin to have true freedom. People speak about freedom of what? Money, time, location. What about freedom to think what you want to think? What about freedom to eat what you want to eat? Right? So, as a man, you have to realize that, again, learn from the stories of other people who have been on this path, and then they suddenly gave up because they felt that they had already won. Yes, people now say, oh, does that mean life is an unending treadmill? Yes, it is. And for the guys who, quote unquote, who never gave up, who never became weak, there's always a common pattern. They might start something like, say, basketball, right? Along the lines, you might say, no, basketball will not really be my thing again. Let me go into what? Music, being a DJ, being a fashion designer. But the bottom line is, your mind has to be going towards something. Because without it, you're basically inviting the demons, inviting the dragons. So keep your focus clear. And that's it basically, right? It's you have to stay hard, as sharp as possible, and never allow distractions come in. Like I said, I see too many guys get into relationships. 6 months down the line, you stop going to the gym, you now have pot belly, and before you know it, you're unattractive, and then she begins to resent you. This is why I always, it's just crazy when I'm seeing women who get into relationships, or guys, when they give up because they stop being attractive, they become fat, lazy, complacent. It's a matter of time, and that itself is what emasculates men. Because when you get into a relationship, most likely, your woman will make some demands. But if you're not established with this mindset of not being weak, you will give into it. You will cave into it. You would want to please her in that process. You will lose yourself, right? So the last part, which I think is very important, I may have forgotten in my head, is a brotherhood. See, you need a group of like-minded men to hold you accountable, right? Because if you don't have men in your life that hold you accountable, you would easily forget your goals. You would easily forget your mission, your vision. But when you're working with people and these guys are having results, not to brag, not to brag about how much they've made it, but they're basically putting their results out there in the community for you to be inspired, for you to realize that you too can do it if you put in the work. If you want to join such a community, the link is in the comment description of this video right there. Right? That's the link there. If you click that link, you can join my free community. And my name is Sonoray, right? If you like any of the ideas you heard in this video, I know there's someone out there, you know a particular person, deep down, you know someone comes to your mind when you're watching this video about not being weak. If someone comes to your mind, send this video to them. Let them realize that there is zero profit in being weak as a man. In short, being weak as a man, according to science, is 5 times more deadlier than smoking, right? So please share this video with them. Let's help a brother. You need to go out there and save a brother. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon, and share this video. Bye for now.